Well, looking at politics now, we have highlights from recently held virtual conference presented by Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders for Biden and Harris. Also known as APIs for Biden-Harris, this is a grassroots community of affinity groups working together to support the Biden-Harris ticket for the presidential elections. At the virtual press conference, members of Congress were joined by DNC API caucus chair and representatives of more than 14 APIs for Biden and Harris to deliver a message for a better future, diversity, and inclusion. The purpose of the post-debate presidential press conference was to react to the former Vice President Joe Biden's final debate and make the final case why APIs should vote for the Biden-Harris ticket this election cycle. Here are representatives from South Asians for Biden, Pakistanis for Biden, and Sikh Americans for Biden sharing issues that impact the Asian American voice in the nation, from economy to immigration to hate crime, discrimination, women's rights, and much more.
The South Asian community is 5 million strong. We are an incredibly diverse community with no unifying language, faith, or condition. Our community is not a monolith. We hail from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Afghanistan, and the Maldives. Some segments of our community are affluent, while others are struggling to make ends meet. We are doctors, lawyers, engineers, and business owners, but we are also essential transportation workers, small business owners, teachers, law enforcement personnel, activists, and working minimum wage jobs. And we South Asians owe our existence in America to a multitude of laws and policies. For many, it is due to acts of Congress, the H-1B visa worker program, and chain migration that allow us to be here and build a life here. But there are others who owe their presence in America to programs like the refugee program, the temporary protective status program, President Reagan's Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, while some 5,000 South Asians receive DACA protections and a growing segment are living in the shadows. But as diverse as we are as South Asians, we are united for electing Vice President Biden and Senator Kamala Harris. The South Asian community is moved by Vice President Biden's decency, his life story, the strength and resilience he exudes. We appreciate his honesty, his forthrightness, and his dedication to public service. And we are so moved by the fact that Senator Harris is the first Indian American and Black woman to serve as a vice presidential nominee. Senator Harris is a trailblazer who has devoted her life to justice and equality. And she knows what it's like to have a parent who's belittled and thought of as less than because of her accent. Many of us know that experience. But more than just their personal attributes, we stand with Vice President Biden and Senator Harris because they respect our immigrant community. They see our diversity as a strength, not as a weakness.
Pakistani Americans are a vibrant community and an integral part of the South Asian diaspora within the U.S. that have consistently called for strong, progressive leadership on all levels of government, especially now in the wake of the historic Biden-Harris ticket. In 2015, Vice President Biden was actually awarded the Hilal-e-Pakistan, Pakistan's top civilian award, for the role he played in contributing to democracy and social economic development in Pakistan. Biden has also pledged to end the Muslim ban upon coming into office, and he actually referenced it again in last night's debate. In our faith, Muslims believe heaven lies at the feet of their mother. For Trump to respond with a simple good in the final debate when Biden called out his administration for being responsible for 500 plus immigrant children being separated at the border goes against everything that not only our tradition, but what our American values and traditions stand for. What our community and our nation needs are candidates who exemplify the qualities of leadership. And we believe Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the natural leaders who will represent all citizens of the United States, all immigrant communities, and deliver our nation through the unprecedented challenges we face in the absence of leadership. Our council believes the diverse experiences and commitment to fair leadership modeled by the candidates on this ticket speaks to the experiences of the Pakistani American immigrant community across the nation. And to reach our objectives, we have created an engaging digital campaign and built a strong virtual presence within the Pakistani American community by collaborating with leaders in strategic states, by mobilizing through virtual platforms and strategic WhatsApp collaborations with over 800 Pakistani Americans from key battleground states.
We have seen bullying against Sikh American students in schools rise more than 200% under the Trump administration. We have seen hate crimes against our turban-donning brothers and sisters rise multiple fold. We have seen so many of our uncles and aunties, small businesses struggle and even collapse under what has been a horrendous response to the coronavirus. We have seen so many of our Sikhs caged in abhorrent conditions in ICE detention centers. And we have seen our president deny the science behind why our homeland, Sarda Punjab, is no longer the land of five rivers. And just last night, as was mentioned by Deepa, we heard our sitting president call our homeland, the land in which our ancestors have fought and lived, have cultivated farms and raised families, our families. He called it filthy. And that's why we formed our organization, Sikh Americans for Biden, to give Sikh Americans a unique voice on a campaign for one of the first times in the history of a major presidential election, and elevate the voices of our siblings across the country. Over the past few months, we have phone banked to Sikhs across battleground states, including Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Texas. We've hosted a number of different events on issues ranging from anti-Sikh discrimination to international human rights and immigration reform. We've heard from our community members, including Valerie Kaur, Mayor Balla, Simranjit Singh, and so many others, all telling us the same thing. Our voice does matter. We owe it to our parents who left everything they knew to come here and provide us with a better life, to choose the right candidate. The candidate that will support affordable healthcare, who will protect our gurdwaras, who will support small business stimulation, who will support affordable healthcare for our parents and our aging community members, who will support reasonable religious accommodations to prevent workplace discrimination. That candidate is undeniably Vice President Biden and Senator Harris. And we need you to vote as well, because quite literally, our lives depend on it. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.